Good evening and happy Thursday. And I see my camera is still doing the adjusting. So 1 second, I thought I had that all figured out. Properties. I could have swore I had that sorted. Focus. Let's turn that autofocus off. Maybe I didn't save it last time. That's on me. So, another Thursday. The week went fast. I did buy more yarn this week. Yeah. I kind of had an impromptu trip to Michael's. I'm taking my watch off because I know when I get crocheting here, it's going to be clanging against the desk. So when I went, because I have some projects on the go, surprise, I added more whips. It's Thursday Knit Live. That's what I should be calling it. Thursday Knit Live. So I bought another Pound of Love in the I think this is it's called Oxford Gray, but it's like a light gray. So I got one of those. What's this one called? That's charcoal. That's not even gray. Because I have, let me see if I have a mountain of yarn over here too. So I'm trying to, and I'll show you the other stuff there. But I'm working on, and there's going to be a blanket, the shell stitching around. So I'm going to try to maybe make some granny squares, because that way you can make it a little wider and a little longer. It doesn't have to be a complete square. And I'm not going to do them all like where this is like the gray in the middle, then like the elephant gray. I'm going to do some with different centers, and I might actually mix in a dark navy, because if you look, this is a cotton, but it gives you an idea about the colors. The navy kind of would bring it out a little bit maybe. So I'm debating on that, but I knew I only had a part ball of this left, and my whole excuse was I'm trying to use up stash stuff, but I keep adding more to the stash. So I'm going to try to get that blanket done, and then there will be the tutorial on that. But I'm going to also do it 2 different ways. I'm going to have it so that if you want to just keep going with the square, and then I'm going to have it with the granny squares. So I started that, kind of set that aside, because this past week I got out the Frosted Petals tutorial of the blanket I showed you the other week. And I've also got everything kind of situated for recording the alphabet blanket, the ABC blanket, the rest of the series and that. Because remember I said to you I could not find where I stashed the one that was in progress for the videos. Still couldn't find it. And then I thought, I had a color yarn that I thought, well, but then I was like, I don't know how well that's going to show up in camera. So again, when I was at Michael's, I got the Pound of Love, because this stuff, just for a baby blanket, it washes up so nicely. This is pastel green. So I thought it could go for either boy or girl. So what I also did this week is I worked up the alphabet blanket back up to where we had finished off on the tutorial. So you can kind of see there's part of the Z, part of the Y. I got that part done, and part of the X. So I'm caught up to that, because I had to get that situated before I could move on with the tutorial. So we're caught up with that, and this week, at least the next one, which my plan is, let me just set this over, and I have hooks everywhere too. My plan is, and this is my tracker, which you can get off of the website, and I always have the link for that in the video description for the tutorial. So week 1 was for up to row 10 Week 2 was 11 to 17. Week 3, a little heftier. It's going to be rows 18 to 29 because I want to get you up past the solid thing of popcorn stitches. And then we'll move on to that. Some of the stuff, because some of the stuff is kind of covered a little more detailed in the first couple, like just when you have to single crochet across to work your way back, that won't be as in-depth because the first couple kind of covered that in depth. So the next little bit of it will go a little quicker, I think, unless people say slow it down and they need a little bit more guidance. But again, like, I will put the link to everything in the description when I post the tutorial, because I include like the letter charts, and I did up, because when I was doing the blanket, I'm like, I need something to keep track of, and I have the row tracker that you can print off and check off so you know where you're at. And that's all there. It's all free PDF for downloading. You can download that and save it, or download that and print it. And I like having the PDF because what I do is, because old lady eyes, I blow up each section and print it off so that it's easier for me to see where I need to. And I make little notes, like start the Z on the 11th stitch, start the Y on the 13th. Like, I make little notes so I can keep track, because it's a set number of stitches in between each row of puff stitches, right? So you kind of, it helps out. And if you set it down, you know where you're at and where you got to go. So next price tutorial will be this week coming up. Now, I also bought, and I think I put the label for it in my trusty book, because these things are great if you don't have one. This is the Lion Brand Ice Cream Big Scoop of Love. And this is in Tutti Frutti. So it's nice colors of different shades of pink and yellow, and like a light turquoisey blue and a white. But it's hard to see because, well, my webcam's not the best, but we work with what we got. So I have that. And I'm pairing it with Loops Thread Soft Classic in light yellow, because the yellow in the Tutti Frutti and the yellow in, I'm trying to twist opposite here. The yellow in the Tutti Frutti and this light yellow, they match exactly. Now, I did a yarn cardinal sin, and I know better. And I was kicking myself after I got home, and I realized what I did. Loops and Threads Soft Classic is a 4 weight yarn. Mind you, some balls of it, some skeins of it seem a little lighter, some seem a little thicker. It's hit and miss, but it's nice and soft. As I was going along and starting what I wanted to work on with this, I realized the Tutti Frutti is a 3. But when you hold them up, and I really don't know if you can see this very well. Let me haul some out. When you hold them up, there's really not a huge difference. There's really not. So what I did was, like, I'm going to try to do what I want to do, and I'm going to see what happens. Worst comes to worst, I have to frog it and pick a different. But I really, as soon as I saw these two colors together, I'm like, oh my God, that's perfect. And I knew what I wanted to call it. I knew what I wanted to do with it. And I was so excited. And then I was kicking myself because a 4 and a 3. I'm like, why didn't I look? Because the Lion Brand Pound of Love is a 4. So I had never bought the Big Scoop or the Scoop of Love. I never bought it before. But my gosh, it's soft and squishy. So I was like, so I sat there and I stared at it, and I'm like, I'm going to try. And this is something that's going to be coming to the channel too. And this is probably what I'll work on tonight. I know I said I was going to work on the granny squares, but I got all excited about this. So this is what I have so far. If you can see. Sorry, I just hit the microphone. If you can see, and everything's reversed, so it throws me off. This is going to be called Sunshine and Rainbows. This will be a baby blanket. 100% washable and dryable. Both, I checked both. That I did look at the label before I bought it because I'm like, I don't want to mix up two, one being lay flat, one being, you know. So let me just switch over to the other camera here. Oh, that's that one. All right, here we go. So this is going to be done in the feather and fan. And you can see the yellow matches so perfectly. This part here is the yellow from the Tutti Frutti, but this yellow is, excuse me, the light yellow from Loops and Threads. They're identical, like they're perfect. So this is what's going to be, and it's going to be called Sunshine and Rainbows. The yellow being the sunshine, rainbows being the part in the middle, and they are arched like that. So that's where I'm going with that. So that will be coming. And it worked. Like I only did this, I started this yesterday late afternoonish, give or take. It works up pretty quick, and it's just a 2-row repeat once you get going, and it's pretty easy. So don't be intimidated. I would classify advanced beginner, intermediate beginner, because all you really need to know is single crochet, double crochet, and chaining. Super, super straightforward once you get going. And when you look at this, there really isn't much difference between the 3 and the 4 weight. So luckily that kind of saved my butt because I had my heart really set on using these two together. So, and they both are super soft. There's no real difference between the feel of the two of them. So it is, I did a little bit and I'm like, I'm going to do a couple sections and see. So it's going to be so many rows of just the light yellow, then so many rows of the Tutti Frutti, and then alternate. And then I'm also going to show in the tutorial how to square off the edges if you want, because you can very easily just leave this as is, but it's quite a scalloped edge. Like there's the cast on, that's knitting. There's where the chain and then the starting rows. Okay, so not quite as steep, but when you get up here, it's a little, the dips and valleys are a little steeper, it seems, just because of the way it goes. I'm going to show you how to fill them in to square them off so you can put on a border, or I'll show you just how to, you can put an edging on it, like a small slight border all the way around and just leave it scalloped. I'm going to give the two options of how to do it. All right, so that's that one. I've worked on the sweater wrap. I'm down to potentially, I think, just maybe another inch of knitting before I switch over, the straight knitting before I switch over to working in the round to do the cuff. Then that will be done. Then that will be one. When I bring the tutorial to the channel, I think what's going to happen, because I'm going to be doing one for a friend, I will show the start of the cuff and how to work the cuff, and then get you to work so many inches as homework kind of thing. And then what will happen is when it comes to the part, I'll show you how to increase the stitches and switch to knitting flat. And then I'll show you an inch or two, because it's just 2-row repeat, a purl row, and then there's the pattern row. And the pattern is just so many 3 knits and a purl. I'll show you how to do that. And then you're going to have to do that for about 100 and some inches. And I will give you the breakdown on that. So that'll be on your own. And then the next part of the video, if we do it in multiple parts, will be decreasing the stitch count, and then how to switch back to working the round to do the second cuff and how to finish it off. And it's very easy. It's very, very beginner friendly, I will say. Very beginner friendly, because you want something like that when you're knitting, and especially if you're just learning, that you can sit and kind of watch listen to TV and stuff like that. So that one, very straightforward. So that's gonna be coming, but we got some plans. And yeah, see, I turned off the autofocus on that. I bet you turned off the autofocus on the wrong thing. Properties. Technical issues are great, aren't they? Well, no, that didn't work. I turned off the autofocus, that made it work worse. Properties. So anyway, where'd that little tab go? Oh, that's over here. Oh, I didn't say okay. Okay. I think I mentioned last time I ordered in more yarn from Walmart for the granny square yarn. We still have to, that's going to be another thing too, is we're going to try to figure out the color pooling with the granny square yarn. But I ordered in more, and I'm not sure if I told you this last week, that it arrived just because the maximum they let me order at once was 6. I think they put a limit on because it was on sale. So I did order in more of that, and I got a few more skeins at Michael's of the Loops and Thread Soft Classic, the blue ombre. I got a few more of these because this and this, although I'm second guessing something now that I see this side by side, I was going to put this and this together because the elephant gray and the kind of gray in the blue ombre kind of look the same. But I also hauled out a ball of the Lion brand in Sleet because I was going to make a sweater. And I'm debating whether the Sleet might look a little better. No, I think it's still going to be the elephant gray. So anyway, so we're going to have a blanket coming with this, and it's super soft, and it's machine wash and tumble dry low, which we love that. Oops. So lots of things still in the works. But if you haven't checked out the Frosted Petals tutorial, that's on the channel there now. If you want to take a peek at that and give it a like, share, do all the things that we all like for people to do when they're watching the YouTube. Let me try and move this back a little bit, just so you can see a little bit better. I tried to move the overhead camera a little bit tonight because it was I couldn't see what I was doing. So I thought I'll just work on this a little bit, see where I'm at. I've been trying to keep track of how many rows of each color I've done because I want to kind of have it. I'm going to do more of the yellow before I switch over and I'm going to try to do 6 rows of yellow, 4 rows of the Tutti Frutti, then I'll do 6. So I've been I keep track, but it's very straightforward. So I think right now I am on just a single crochet row. So we'll do that while we're chit-chatting. So did anybody, oh, and I'm also using a 5.5 millimeter hook. Sometimes for the Feather and Fan crochet, because there's 2 versions, there's a crochet version and a knit version. I am also going to do a tutorial for the knit version because I plan on making a baby blanket in the knit variety. And I think I may have showed you one sec. I'm trying to pull it out without every phone. This is the knit variety. And it's super soft. Super soft. So feather and fan and knit, feather and fan and crochet. They're very similar, but at the same time, they look a little different. Okay, but it's the same idea. So when come time, we'll do both. I'll have the knit and the crochet version. So, but right now, this is just a single crochet across the whole row. And that's one of the repeat rows. So it's like very straightforward. And the one thing I recommend, oh, I didn't trim that off. Just anytime you do change your colors, weave your ends in as you go. Save yourself the headache of down the road. That's my big life tip there. Because you can end up with a fair number of tails. So if you do them as you go, it doesn't seem so overwhelming. That's still not, for why are you not focusing? There we go. Kind of. So did anybody who ordered yarn get their yarn in yet from the big sales that were on? I did not order anything from Yarn Inspirations or anything like that, just because the cost of shipping and duty and everything. But I was looking, a viewer had commented some other Canadian sites, like I know about Mary Maxim and stuff like that, but there's a few places on the island here, PEI, that actually have hand-dyed yarns and stuff. And one of them is actually, picture a food truck, but it's yarn. They have a mobile store that they will literally set up shop in certain locations, and they will put in social media, for this week you can find us here, or for this week we're now going to be here. So I may see about, they're currently not far from where I live, just maybe a 10-minute drive. So I might take a little trip out there, see if it's okay to do a little video, and just see what all they have, because I don't think, and I'm not totally sure, if you can order online from them. And they also, from what I gather from their website, and again, I want to double check all this before I say yes or no or whatever. They don't just have their own, they also carry other maritime handmade yarn dye from other companies that are all local to the Maritimes and such. So we'll see what that what comes of that. It's going to depend. And there's a place out in Belfast here. It's a little bit more of a drive. They have their own farm with like alpacas and sheep and stuff, and they do their own wool. They do their own like spinning. They do everything in the dyeing, and to see just what all's involved in it all and what they offer and stuff. So a couple of maybe field trips in the future. So we'll see how that goes. What else was I got? There was a few other ideas I had for things to come to the channel, that possibly some wearables. I want to try to figure out how to make my own and like design my own tank top, like Ed Cotton stuff, because there's lots of nice ones out there, but I want to figure out and just kind of put my own twist on it, kind of, because if I have a pattern that I've made, if it's by somebody else, I can't put it on the channel, and I wouldn't do that. That's a big no-no. And I'm thinking too, even though it's July, some Christmas decor stuff. I have an idea for like a snowman pillow. Like you would have like the pillow, which would be white, and then do like a scarf. But the thing is, the scarf would go beyond the pillow, so it would be kind of like as if it was tied on the side. So I'm thinking about that. A different kind. I made a wreath before. It was like a snowman wreath, and you buy like the foam wreath form from Michael's or your craft store, and just how you can crochet around that, and then made a little snowman and put like a banner, and then you make a bunch of snowballs. So that's kind of cute. So I thought maybe something like that. Some gnome things. So I've got things kind of working around holiday wise, and maybe a tree skirt, but just some things too that might make good like little gifts. Like a lot of people like getting things for teachers. Like I have the keychains on the channel and other ornaments and stuff. Now I moved the white thing and that did it again. Oh, I won't focus. So we'll see. If there's something that you want to see and I can do it, just put it in the comments, leave a comment or a community post or what have you. And if it's something I can do, I'll write it down. I have a little list of all the things I want to do. And it's kind of growing, which is good because that way we're going to have lots of content. If there's any yarn in particular I can get for yarn swatches, I could do that. I don't mind doing those. Because what I got thinking was for the yarns, for yarn swatches, if I did, say I bought a ball, let's just say I got the Tutti Frutti yarn, and people wanted to see it worked up, say I did like 4 or 5 different stitch patterns. Well, the thing is, I would try to make the squares all the same size, even though they're different stitch patterns. Then say I turn around and had extra yellow yarn left, I can make some squares to make that. Put the squares together and you got a blanket. So your swatches don't go and just go in a pile and you've got nothing to show for them. You put them to use. Or you start stockpiling up, like you try to do all your swatches in the same size. No, not necessarily the same stitch pattern, but as long as they're like the same size, you can make a granny square blanket after you have enough squares. It's almost like a stitch sampler. So I thought about that. I can't get over how soft this is. Where's this made? Turkey. That's why. Because I don't know if you watch Matt on Gilded Loop Crochet. He talks a lot about this, like the yarn softness and stuff. And one thing I will agree with him 100% on, the stuff from Turkey, way softer than the stuff that comes from China or India. Could be the same brand name, but depending which factory it came from, the factory from Turkey, but hands down, softer. Could be the same color, could be the same brand, could be everything, but if it came from that factory, whether it's how they're processing everything, I have no clue, but it is way, way better. And you can definitely, if you had 2 of the same skeins of yarn, one from Turkey, one from India, you feel the difference. Now, mind you, once you wash them, they feel pretty much the same. Or I find, with the loops and threads. When I was over at Michael's, they had a huge restock done at my Michael's, which I love to see because this time of year, people are taking advantage of any of the sales and their coupons and stuff and starting to stock up for like craft fairs and such. So you kind of have to get it while the getting's good. Because that was one thing when I was at Walmart there last week. I think I told you. The choices were so slim. And like, even if you saw one, you're like, oh, I like that. There wasn't enough skeins to buy enough to do a project, let alone a full, like, say you wanted to make a twin or a queen size blanket. Nowhere near enough. Like, far, not even enough to even do a baby blanket. Some of the colors may have had at the most 2 to 3 skeins. Like, it was bad.
Going to the tower.
So, but Michael's, they seem to be keeping on top of supply here at least. And I noticed they have all along, up along the back, whole back wall. Here is all their overstock. And it is packed, like packed. 100%. 100%. That's a bit of an inside joke for some people. All right, so coming up to the end of the row here. Let me just write that down so I know how many rows yellow. And I'm going to turn. I'm not going to go into detail as to what all I'm doing here because this is going to be on in the tutorial when it comes out. But very, very easy to so I put one too many, I think. Yeah. So are people more interested in blankets? And if it's the blankets, do you want baby size? Do you want ones like the majority of the blankets? If I post a baby size one, I will give you the stitch multiple. So if you decide, oh, I like that pattern or I like that stitch, I want to make a bigger blanket, I will give you the stitch multiple of how to do that. So you can adjust the size you want. Majority of times, whether depending on the pattern, you can turn around and make it the length you want regardless. So the thing is, if I put a border on it, the border may not 100% work out to how your size adjustment, but you should be able to kind of fudge it a little bit if there's a border. If I flat out say to you, you need to make sure your count for the border is a certain number of stitches, then you may have to choose a different border than what I've indicated, is the only thing. Otherwise, you can kind of try to play around with it, make it work. Kind of like how I showed in the Frosted Petal tutorial. If I kind of gave a description of what you could do if your count was off just a little bit, how you can kind of fudge it, and you can't even tell. You fake it till you make it. Crochet is very forgiving. A little harder with knitting to try to cover up some inconsistencies. Crochet, depending on the situation, very easy to do so, or I find. Because sometimes you're doing something and you're like, oh, I should have done that like 10 rows ago. Well, maybe you can just adjust it now and you're not going to be able to tell. And in a lot of cases, that's the case. Okay. There's going to be some cases where you're like, I need to rip out 10 rows because otherwise it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. Very rare. Okay. So skip one. 1, 2. Sorry, just counting for a second. 5, 6. And you'll notice I didn't chain anything in between the double crochets because that's what causes the dip in the material. So I just want to make sure I have 7. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. So let me know if blankets are your thing. If we want to do a mixture of blankets, try to do some wearables, some decor, some hats, which I suppose is wearable. We got lots of options, and there's lots of things I'm looking forward to. And next week there will be a live Thursday. This kind of schedule-wise, this works out well. So next week there will be live Thursday. And then I'm going away. And I'm hoping, and I think I'm going to be able to, is go to some yarn stores in Montreal. We're talking like the nice handmade, not just like going to Michael's or Walmart. I'm talking like the specialty yarn stores. And I'm going to see if it's possible to film some of the store stuff. A lot of places don't like you doing that, but I will see what I can do. If not, I'll get some pictures anyway, maybe make a little thing. But I'm hoping to get something that's more like that's affordable, because some of those hand-dyed yarns, they're $35, $40 a hank. I'm sorry, but in this economy, especially like if you need something, say you're knitting a sweater and you're going to need 5 or 6 of those hanks to make like a large or extra large, that's like a $200 sweater. I could buy the yarn from Michael's with my coupons and make the same sweater for like $20. Will it be as good of a quality? Not, it depends. But I want to see what's out there. I want to see what some of the options are around. I've kind of scoped out a few different places near where I'm going to be. And I'm hoping to get in and get some video and just see what all they have and just what's out there. Because it'd be kind of nice to find a nice hand-dyed yarn. Even if you don't use it for the whole project. Say it's something where you want to make something and you can put like just some rows of the real nice stuff, and then kind of work it into, so that way you're not spending hundreds of dollars on yarn for one item. Kind of mix in some of the more affordable value yarn. So I thought I'd look into that while I was away. But there, schedule-wise, it works out that I still be able to do the live next Thursday, and I get back the following Wednesday, so I'll be able to do the live Thursday night. So I'll tell you all about the adventures of the yarn shopping, and if I manage to actually get some, I will show it off and tell you where I got it and how maybe you can get it. Because it's nice to have options. And it's also nice to see what other options are out there. Because not everything... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. A lot of places don't necessarily advertise that much. So you're kind of at the mercy. Some of them, like, you either find out about it from word of mouth, or someone posts something that they made in a group that you're in on Facebook or whatever, and it's like someone says, what's that pattern? Oh, what yarn did you use? Oh, I got this, it's this yarn, but I got it from so and so, and they only make certain ones certain times. Like, it's not necessarily as advertised as much, because especially when it's like locally done, sometimes it's more well known in the area around them and not as well known elsewhere, but they may ship, kind of thing. So, and something else I'm going to be working on between now and I don't have a set date. I have an Etsy shop. I have yet to post anything for sale on it. So what I'm planning on doing, because I have quite a few projects and different things like dishcloths that are packaged up nicely, keychains, ornaments, blankets, kids sweaters and hat sets, just different things that I had done for like craft fairs and stuff. What I think I might do is gather everything back up and see what I have stock wise that I want to post for sale. But what I might do is based on like seasonal. Like I don't think I'm going to have a consistent inventory on Etsy. What I might do is, okay, the 1st of September shop goes live. Here's what I have for sale. When it's gone, it's gone. I think they call it like doing like a drop or whatever. And then I'll work on other things like other blankets and stuff like that for restock and different like holiday, like seasonal things and stuff. And then I'll post them, say, November. Once they're gone, they're gone. It won't be something that's going to be consistently able to be ordered. I won't be putting patterns as of right now anyway, because most of my patterns, what ends up happening is I post them free on the website anyway. But if there's something that's more detailed, that requires like pictures and images and more detailed description, that might end up being posted on Etsy for a price and download, because if there's more involved in it. But I don't know. And if it is something like that, they're not going to be expensive at all. I like to keep that to a bare minimum. But what I might do, sorry, I'm very let's try. Just to get a buildup of items that I can put on the shop, post them for sale. When they're gone, they're gone. Give it a few months, post the next set for sale. When they're gone, kind of thing. And just see how that goes. And I think with just the way shipping is and the whole duty issue for everybody outside of Canada, I may stick to only Canadian orders. That's frustrating for some probably, but they have it now that any duty has to be paid up front when the item gets shipped. And I don't know how Etsy will do that, because I don't know, like when you go to send something to the States, you have to tell them you have to say where it came from, like country of origin, how much it's worth, what the item is so it can classify it. And then they go through and there's an app that will calculate the duty. And then you have to pay for that before you even go to the post office, because it gives you a QR code that shows you paid the customs duty. And so that, I don't think Etsy can really, I don't know how Etsy would get around that. So it may end up being, sending it outside of Canada might end up being much more of a hassle unless I can get it figured out. So initially it's going to be just Canada only probably, because they have those flat rate shipping boxes, which is great with tracking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we'll see how that goes. But that's my idea for the Etsy. I'll get that up and going, because I only need so many blankets and that around here. And I like to make the blankets. And if I can make them, and I know last year I donated some to, there was various fundraisers going on for people with cancer and stuff. So I did donate some of those for that. So I do like doing that too. So, but if I can get the shop up and going, I'll do that too. Trying to stay over here a little bit. So that'll be something. But I like to try to design a couple of wearables. I've done one in the past that I thought I was doing all right with, it didn't turn out quite the way I wanted, which kind of made me frustrated. And it sits on a shelf and doesn't get worn because I was like, it's not always that easy to try to, well, hello, grown folks. Great to be seen again. I'm going to try to do this every Thursday. Going to try to do it every Thursday. I'm trying to set that schedule for myself. Get back into the swing of things a little bit. See and be seen and all that. Try and get some more action on the channel. 3. Get back into making the videos and the tutorials. 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll see how it goes. So far, so good. I've been consistent for 3 weeks. So, but I've been trying to keep the live to maybe about an hour. Unless there's something going on that might take a little longer. But I'm just working on one of my works in progress, or whips as we say. And then this will be a tutorial coming to the channel. And I'm going to try to do one live and one tutorial a week, because if I try to do too much more than that, I don't want my hands to flare up with the whole carpal tunnel. I don't want to go through that again. So we're going to pace ourselves, see how it goes. I enjoy the lives. Would love to see more people here, but that takes time. That takes time. Oh, I should put this in there. I did start, I don't know if capital letters makes a difference. I did start a new Facebook group because apparently I had set it up wrong before. Here we go. So hopefully more people will pop by. It's a private group, so you have to get approved to get in, because I don't want, there's a lot of scammers and bots and that out there when it comes to the crafting stuff. And I don't want that for anybody, because I don't want like AI pictures. I don't want anything like that. Like, there's a lot of patterns being posted that are AI. And there's been people like, oh, I paid $5.99 for this pattern. I tried to make it. It didn't even turn out to be what it said it was. And then they try to go back to get their money, and whoever it was shut their store down. They're just trying to they're kind of abusing the system. So I want to avoid that. So, but yeah, new group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 more. And hopefully people will start, if they join, they can post patterns, ask questions, all that stuff. Bunch of like-minded people when it comes to like knitting, crocheting, crafting, cross stitch, you name it, anything like that. Because you can find inspiration for other projects that you may not have thought of from somebody else, or color combinations. Like, so I always enjoy, and I'm in other Facebook groups, and I watch other YouTubers and I watch other streamers and stuff. And there's times where I'm like, I never would have thought of putting those colors together. And I have an idea now for what I want to do, something different than what the person did. But like, now that I know that those colors work, perfect. Now, one thing I'm trying to figure out, and maybe anyone who watches this can drop a little comment under the video. For a border for this, I am debating to whether just use white because there's white here, or do I just do it in the yellow? Then I got thinking, I'll fill in the dips and valleys in the yellow, do maybe 1 or 2 rows of single crochet in the yellow, do a row of the rainbow color, and then another couple of rows of the yellow, and just call it a day for the border. And I might do a shell border, or just keep it simple and do single crochet. And then I had another idea of doing a couple rows of double crochet and then doing front post, back post to give it some texture. I've got some ideas. It's going to depend. It'll depend. But what do you think of just doing the yellow for evening out? This camera driving me nuts. Focus. The yellow to fill in, and then maybe doing a couple rows of white, of yellow, and then either this color or just white. So we'll have to figure that out. I've still got to finish the blanket part. Something that's coming up too, I don't know if people know, here in PEI every October we have the Fiber Festival, and there have been people like there's people from all over that come to put on like courses and seminars and stuff like it. Mikey Selleck from Crochet Crowd, he was here one year, along with what's her name, Tanya from Tanya Knits, and she has her from Nerdy Knitting. She was here. Lots of other people to do, and they have vendors, stuff for like the yarns and everything. It's like a whole weekend. So that'll be interesting too. That's this October. It's always every October. So that's going to be coming up. So I don't know about getting into that and just seeing about recording some stuff for the channel too. Because something like that, I don't know what all, because the courses and the seminars, you have to sign up and pay for those. Some of those aren't free. Some are a little expensive. I'll tell you that. But some of them are very reasonable, especially if you're just looking to learn. Say you've crocheted and you want to learn how to knit, there's beginner courses. Or say you know how to knit, but you want to learn how to do color work, there's courses on that. And there's crocheting, and there's all kinds of different things, all to do with fiber. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, one more. So that'll be interesting. I'm not sure what day it is this year. Let me see. PEI Fiber Festival 2026. October 1st to 3rd. It's a celebration of all things fiber, including marketplace workshops provided by world-class instructors, farm tours, and maritime entertainment. Look at that. So, the marketplace is expanding. Okay, workshops, instructors. So let's see who the list of instructors are. Lorna Ash, Kate Atherley, Joe Bint, Cabin Boy Knits, Elise Campbell, Carson Demers, Lisa Freeman, Laura McCachran, Kim McBrien Evans, Charlene and Debbie Miller, Jillian Noonan, Janet Ogilvie, I'm sorry, I have no idea how to pronounce her last name. Stephanie Pearl McPhee, Penelope Player, Jose Puer, Sarah Thompson, Daryl and Rachel Stultz from Quality Sheep Farm. They're the ones that do the yarn. And Flory Sanderson. So those are just the instructors. Some of the workshops are already sold out. One of the ones that sold out like immediately was how to hand dye and behind the scenes farm tour with Janet Ogilvie. But there's there's courses on needle felting. There's tons of stuff, like a lot of stuff. tons of stuff. And the seminars, they base, like, there's level 1, level 2, level 3, like, so, and then, or all levels, beginner, intermediate, advanced, like, it tells you what may be a good fit for you, what might not be, but so they have assigned skill levels. So one of the courses it's an intermediate, crafting custom wet felted mittens, loom weaving, made to measure set-in sleeve cardigan. That's another one. So, like, there's lots of different things. Like, they've got like a ton of stuff. So that's interesting. So if you're near PEI, and especially if you're here between October 1st and 3rd, that might be something you're into. It's just downtown. But now some of the farm tours and stuff are obviously out around, so you can see all the sheeps and stuff. So yeah. So some fun things on our little island when it comes to fiber arts and the such. So, and if you do end up coming for it, let me know in the comments, because I know some people are further away and some people, it's surprising how many people online, especially like if I'm watching something from the crochet crowd or whatever, when Mikey's doing a live or something, I'll be like, hi from PEI, and people are like, oh, I'm from here, I'm from there. It's surprising how many people are in like the maritime area that are on some of these other channels that you know you wouldn't have known. So yeah, let me know if you got your yarn order that you ordered. If you ordered, what all did you get? I know I said last week, I'm like, oh, I wish I could order some of it's just, I see some of the stuff, and I know I have other Canadian options, but I see some of the stuff that people are getting from Yarn Inspirations or Hirschner's or whatever, and I'm like, it's the whole, was it FOMO, fear of missing out? I'm like, I want that yarn too. I want all the yarn. Yeah, what's that thing? I won't tell people I won the lotto, but there will be signs. I'll have all the yarn. And we'll build like a separate building for just like yarn and recording and all that stuff. You'll not know, but there'll be signs. God, they keep raising the prices of everything. I'm gonna have to win the lotto to keep going with some of the stuff. Because I know, and I think I mentioned this last week, it used to be the pound of love was $14.99 plus tax here in Canada. Now it's $16.99. So it went up $2. But when you have your coupon from Michael's, if you're not a rewards member at Michael's, get signed up for that thing, because it doesn't cost you anything to join up. So 1, 2, 3. And depending on how much you spend in yarn, there's different tiers of membership. And it's based on how much you spend throughout the year, the calendar year. And like right now you get a minimum of 25% off coupon that you can use every day. You get so much off for your whole purchase on your birthday. You earn reward points. And after you get enough reward points, you get a voucher for $5 off that you can put towards whatever with your coupon. So like right now I can get 35% off a regular priced item every day. And every time I buy something, I build up my voucher. So like, I think when I went and I got one of my pound of loves, I had a $5 voucher and my 35% off coupon. I think I paid like, well, just a second. In this, I staple my receipts for each project. Just so I know how much it cost me to make it. All right. Did I use? No. Oops. All right, I didn't use the voucher on that one. Lion Brand Pound of Loves, regular $16.99. I used my 35% off, which brought it down to $11.04. Then I used my $5 voucher, which brought it down to $6.95 after tax. That's not bad. I'll see you can see all my notes where this is the granny square blanket. This is the ABC blanket that I had to restart. And you get to put like a piece of the yarn, and there's the label. There's how much it was. And then this is the Sunshine and Rainbows, what I'm working on now. I haven't attached the labels and that yet. I wait till I'm done. And then some of these are the other ones I made. The Lopi sweater, there's the three colors, the white, the dark gray, and the light gray. And I kept the yarn labels. Like these are great, especially if I went back. So, and my little notes, like if I had to adjust the sleeves for sweaters or whatever I was knitting, like I can keep track. And look, it needs to definitely be blocked once done due to the pattern so that it stands out a little bit better. So look, and here's one, all the vine sweater that I knit. This isn't my pattern, so I can't really do anything. This was the Ashley Lillis from Ravelry. The sleeves were going to be too wide, so I adjusted the pattern partway down the sleeve and maintained the pattern. I also could have went down a size, I think. So that way, if I had wanted to make another one, I knew what I had to adjust. So yeah. These books are great, just off Amazon. I think it was like $10. And it's got enough in there for, well, it goes to page 106. So, and I put my knitting in here too. I don't just do crochet. I put my knitting in here too, and I keep track of everything. It's great. Highly recommend. So yeah, so stay tuned for this week. There will be the next part of the alphabet blanket especially for those who have been waiting for it. And I do apologize. I hadn't planned on having to take as much time off as I did because of my hands. But now that we're back into it, I'm caught back up. Don't need to worry about, you know what's going to happen. I'm going to find that other one that I set aside. And if that's the case, I'll just finish it. And that'll go on Etsy come the time. So now that I've got everything caught back up to where I need to be for the tutorial, that's going to be coming within the week. Definitely before the next live. I'm going to work on this so I can bring you the Sunshine and Rainbows blanket. That'll be coming soon-ish because I got to get it finished. I got to figure out the border. But I also want to get the alphabet blanket. That's going to be multiple videos. Just so we can get that done and out of the way. And if people are still wanting to work on it, everything will be there in the playlist for the alphabet blanket. So yeah, let me know how your week's been. Let me know if you got any yarn, what you got, what are you going to make with it, what are you going to do, what your color. I'm not one usually for the bright different colors, so this is kind of outside my comfort zone a little bit, but I'm not minding it. So let me know how let me know how your week went. Let me know if there's anything you want covered on the channel, whether it's during a live or a tutorial. If it's something that isn't someone else's pattern or whatever, I can gladly see if I can fit that in. I hope you have a great week. Stay tuned for the alphabet blanket week 3. If you haven't gone and watched the Frosted Petals, I appreciate it if you take a little peek at that. Oh, and in the comments, let me know where you're watching from. I'm interested to see. Anyway, that's going to be it for this week. I said I'd keep it to about an hour. We'll see how it goes. So just wanted to touch base, work a little bit on what's going on here, and let you know what's coming up. So take care, and I will see you next week for the live. And I hope you have a great crafting week, whether you're knitting, crocheting, needlepoint, cross stitch, needle felting, paint by number, whatever you're doing to keep yourself busy and enjoy your time. All right, so take care, and I'll see you next week.